Facebook, YouTube. How y'all doing today, man? This Coach Jay from iStandard. Just want to come on here and chat with you a bit. Um, today we're going to be talking about life domains, but I just want to also take time to kind of talk about what our standard is and what the mission and what the goal of iStandard is. I was in thought one day, and I was just thinking about standards, life standards, values, morals, things that we stand on as individuals that keep us on the straight and on the narrow, keep us motivated when we're in difficult times, or keep us focused when we need to be focused. um you know and so I was like, man, right, you know um I have things that I stand on, other people have things that they stand on, and then I thought about our standard. Like, we all have a standard that we live by that makes us better. At least I hope your standards of life make you better. And so, this whole mission is about making our young people better, or partnering with our young people to help them become better. And so, as you're going about your day, man, just reflect on the things that make you better, the standards of living that make you better. And I've dedicated my life work to young people, to working in the trenches with young people, motivating young people, wanting to see young people really be successful. And so, here I am, continuing in that work, continuing on that mission, man, to really help young people understand who they are, give them the tools to be better citizens, to be better individuals, however that may look for them. Not to tell them what to do, or to get them to view life the way that I view it, but to just give them some tools that can make them better at what they do. And also parents, like, parents are a vital part of what we do over here as well, because we want to get to the young people as early as possible. And so parents, the community, plays a big part, a big role in that as well. So let's get into it. So today I want to talk about some life domains. And if you never heard of life domains, they're kind of like pillars, areas that we all have, or that we flow through at some point in our life. And so there's about 7 or 8 of them. And so I want to talk about a few today. Education, housing, health, which includes physical and mental health, also relationships, identity, um, finance and employment, and also life skills. So let's unpack a couple of those. Now, if you're an adult, you just think about those areas and how one or more of those areas impacted or cultivated you in becoming the adult that you are today. How did the domain of education help you become who you are? The domain of housing, relationship, health, identity, life skills, finance, employment. How did that one of those domains help you become who you are today? Or maybe maybe all of them in some way, shape, or form help you become who you are today. Having the skills in those areas help you become who you are today. So let's look at education, right? How important is education to the future of a young person? And when we talk about education, I mean, it's so broad. You got K through 12, and then you got the GED path that young people can take to still be productive citizens. Then you got trade and technical school. And then you got higher learning, the bachelor's, master's, doctoral degrees. There's so much that education can do for not only young people but even adults alike, that will cause people to have a better opportunity to provide for themselves, to create businesses, to impact your character, to put your family in a situation that you want them to be in, cause growth to happen in many areas of your life. Education is vital, and I'm not saying by any means that the everybody should go get a 4-year degree, or everybody should get a master's, or or PhD. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying educate yourself in any shape, form, or fashion, even beyond the world of academics, right? What about just educating yourself on different cultures, educating yourself on different ethnicities, or educating yourself on what the world is really like outside of the area and space that you live in. And so education is just bigger than K2 through 12, or bigger than systematic learning. The way that we see it is bigger than that. And I would ask anyone to push themselves beyond, K through 12, or just the basic learning, math, English, science, social studies, that type of learning that we're used to, that type of education that we're used to. Push yourself beyond that. Even when it comes to, religion, or sociology, history, just be a student of life. Just be a student of life. I try to be as versed as I can, because you never know when you're going to engage someone. You may be sitting by somebody at the doctor's office, and this is another domain, relationships. You may be sitting by somebody at the doctor's office and just strike up a conversation about, golf or the stock market or anything. And I always like to be well read and well versed in different areas that can help me, build a great life for myself, a solid life for myself, an expansive life for myself. If you're on here viewing, man, and you got a comment, please drop your comments in the chat, um, and I will respond to your comments. I appreciate whoever is tuned in. Those who will go back and watch the replay, put your comments in. Any questions that you have, drop those, and I'll respond to them as I see them. But then the next domain is housing. How important is housing? Like, how important is housing in terms of bringing the best out of someone, or creating a brighter future for someone, or even creating stability for someone. When you look at, whether things are education costs a lot, but ignorance will cost you a lot more. Man, that's a whole nugget. That's a whole like master key right there. It does cost, right? And there's a lot of discussion out about, the American dream. It used to be the American dream to have a house, get an education. It's costly. And so as parents, we have to look at that and say, okay, I see what education got me, right? But I also see this student loan tab. So how can I set my son or my daughter up, right, to prevent them from having mortgage-sized debt if they decide they want to go to college when they come out, to really give them a leg up, right? You know what I'm saying? Like if you can do that for your child, like that's a key investment that needs to be on your list of investments. You understand what I'm saying? How you doing, Vanita? That needs to be like that's on your list when you're investing in this stock and that stock. You know what I'm saying? Have that on your list of investments. Like I'm finna invest in a college fund because I want my children to be able to come out of college with, without mortgage-sized debt. Even if you can dedicate yourself and say, you know what, I'm gonna just try to. If you got two or more kids, it get expensive. If you got two kids, say, listen, I want to set a goal for myself as their parent to at least pay 2 years of college and maybe possibly even buy them their first vehicle. That may be a good goal for yourself. How you doing, Essie? That's a good goal. Set some sort of goal. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what goal you want to set. I'm not telling you what goal to set for your home. But what I am saying is when I was in college, the young people that really were free to focus on their academics, no stress at all, were the ones who were trust fund babies, the ones who, were fortunate enough to get a scholarship. Their car was paid. They didn't have to stress about where they were going to eat, how they were going to eat, if the car had gas, what was in the account. They were able to just have fun and focus on doing their work. They live really stress free. That's not everybody's story. But as a parent, if you have the means, and every parent don't have the means, I'm not saying every parent does, but if you have the means, try to be able to give them something, provide something to your young ones as they are deciding to go to college, even if it's just your presence and your motivation along the way. If that's all you can provide, please provide that. So let's get back to housing. Housing is so vital, right? And we know that everybody is not on the same income level to be able to live in the same neighborhoods. But I would hope that one day we can get to the place in America to where we invest in adequate housing for all. And you may view adequate different from the way I view adequate, but I'm talking about your heat working, your central air working, your water working. There's no maintenance issues. You have space. You have access. All of that. When I look at housing, I look at all of that, right? Because if a child is going to school and is concerned about, if the lights are going to be on, if the water is going to be on, if I'm gonna be able to walk through the neighborhood and get to my house because these people are hanging out and that thing is going on, this thing is going on, that's stressful. That creates for a stressful and chaotic environment. And so as a parent, you can be strategic, right? If you have to live in subsidized housing, let that be a catalyst, right? Let set some goals to say, okay, I'm gonna be in here, and I know it's wage based, right? So I'm gonna get a break. But while I'm in here, I'm gonna work hard, and I'm gonna set a goal for myself to pull myself out of this. So this won't be my story, my life story forever, that I'm living in subsidized housing, and now my children have to become products of this environment, because that can easily happen if, as a parent, you're not putting in the necessary work to create outlets for them to see something different. Because we are all on some level products of our environment. The way I grew up in rural Alabama. So I know how to run tractors and farm a little bit, raise cattle and things of that nature. So, I know how to hunt if I need to. So again, that's me being a product of my environment. Now, it may not be what people would deem to be a negative product of my environment, but some people, when they come out as the product of their environment, is not, they don't have the same end game as me. And so I think we should give attention to that as we vote, as we talk to our leaders. That we need to have adequate housing, and equal opportunity to adequate housing for all. When I say adequate, I mean the environment, not just the structure, but the entire environment needs to be adequate and needs to promote growth, development, and change. What's up, baby girl? Cindy, glad you tuned in on here. Just on here chit chatting with the people, talking about life domains. And then also the next one is health, right? You know what I'm saying? How does health help one, have quality of life and put them on the right trajectory, the right path to success? And for communities that don't have access, health is a big part, both physical and mental health is a big part, because if you don't have good insurance, you can't get your teeth cleaned like you should. You don't get regular checkups. When it comes to mental health, you can't get good therapists. You don't have good access. Your waits to get in may be longer. You may not have access to good prescriptions and medication. So that can definitely affect a young person or youth that is, in high school, trying to play sports, try not to miss a lot of days of school if they become ill, right? We've seen that now with COVID and what COVID has done in certain communities that don't have access. That health component is important. This is another life domain that can be overlooked. So you ask yourself, when the last time you went to the dentist to get your teeth cleaned? That's a part of your wellness. We think wellness and health, we just, okay, ain't nothing physical, but how your teeth doing? Do your children got any cavities? When the last time you took them to the dentist? Eye exam. When the last time you've been to the optometrist to have your eyes checked? All of these domains are critical, right? They're critical in development of not only young adults, but also adults alike. Like we got to look at the bigger picture of life and really start taking care of ourselves, especially our children. because we want to look at them as a whole being, a holistic approach, not certain isolated areas. That's why all of these life domains are important. Education, housing, and health. All of those are important because when they're younger, the proper health and nutrition is important to the development, brain development, physical development, emotional development. All of those things are important. So being a parent is not just, having intercourse and spitting out a baby. It's about like planning for that child, planning for that life that you're bringing into the world, and then being there to cultivate it with these life domains in your mind, right? There may have been an exposure gap. It's like, man, I never heard of this stuff, but here we are. That's why we're here. Thank you, Shirley. If you have a question, feedback, comment, your experience as a mother, drop that in there. We're just chatting, learning here today. So please drop that in there. And then relationships, like how vital are relationships to our future, right? Now you think about your young children, right? They're young. You want to teach them how to form and build relationships, how to communicate, and also teach them the value of a true relationship, right? I talk to my son all the time. Like he meet a kid at the park and he already calling him his friend. I'm like, hold up. That ain't your friend. That's just somebody you playing with at the park. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to set you up for failure with that whole idea of a friend. That's just an acquaintance, somebody you met, somebody you know. So we have to teach our young people the value of relationships and what real relationships are. Like a real relationship, I got some real relationships in my life. And as an adult, I value those relationships. I'm going to tell you why. If I'm in a situation, I have a need, right? Whether it's somebody to talk to, whether it's somebody to give me some direction, some feedback, I got some people I can pick up the phone and call. And whatever need it is, I know that need can be met. And if you don't have relationships like that with some people in your life, then you may want to reevaluate. That's the whole idea of having relationships that are outside of the family. Supposedly you can call family and get what you need, but that's not always the case. And so when you're developing relationships, you want to be able to get something out of those relationships, but you also want to be able to give something to those relationships, and have those relationships bring value to you, and you bring value, give value to those relationships. So if we can teach our young people to understand the importance of relationships and what relationships are, I think they will look at who they interact with differently, and from a different lens, right? And they will probably choose relationships and friendships differently, and compartmentalize those that are in their life. Say, okay, this is just an acquaintance. It's somebody I know, somebody I interact with on this level. But this is my friend. This is somebody I care about. I spend time with them. You want to have a solid community and not an artist. Absolutely. A solid community. And the thing about having that solid community and relationships, the parallel is this: communication. And that's we're going live tomorrow from this platform, iStandard LLC, and we're going to talk about transactional communication. Communication is so vital when it comes to any relationship, because if you can communicate well, you're telling the other person who you are, what your boundaries are, what your interests are, what your likes are, and hopefully because of that, you can, kind of feel, okay, this is somebody I want to have a relationship, or this is somebody I want to be around, or I understand my community because I communicate with those in my community. I know who is in my community, and my community knows me. But it's that communication is dropped somewhere. I think it's like we live on these islands right now for some reason. I don't know. That's a good point. Now that you done triggered my mind, I'm gonna try to start doing some research. But I do know that we have to communicate more with each other and not talk to each other. I wrote some down earlier. Hold on. Move from being a talker to being a communicator, because it's one thing to talk, but it's a different thing to communicate. Because I believe that when you communicate, there's an aim, there's substance to it, and you're given some substance, and in turn you get some back. And communicating is more than just something coming out of your mouth. It's also you're feeling, you're sensing, you're watching body language and all of that. I think that comes with being able to be a good communicator. It's like you can read, understand everything, tone, all of that, and be able to communicate from that dimension. But that comes with practice and skill, I think, and it comes with time. But for our young ones, our pupils, we just want to we just want them to be solid and understand, how to communicate their needs, voice their needs. And as parents, we have to also be careful with that disciplinary thing we have. Don't talk when I'm talking. Don't talk back to me. Like you kind of have to be careful with that. That's a fine line with that, because it's like you're snatch their ability to communicate, because they're gonna remember that. Well, my mama told me to don't talk when grown folks talk. Like we get this respectful aspect of that, right? We want young people to be respectful, but you have to be careful not to whip them down, and then they don't want to talk and say anything, um, and they can become victims that way. So we want our young people to be able to communicate what's on their mind, what's on their heart, and help them talk through that. That they become better communicators and listeners that way. So we're moving out of relationship into identity. I talk to my son all the time about identity. I believe the more grounded we are in who we are, it makes it difficult for one to bully us. And a lot of bullies, they hang their hat on power, control, influence, and you know, I hate to talk about this younger generation, but sometimes it seems as though that's one things that show up. It's like that they in an identity crisis. It's like they don't know which way they want to go. They haven't quite found themselves, and so it's important that we help young people understand identity, who they are, how they identify, and that may change over time. But we want them to be solid in that. And so when somebody say, "Oh, you short," or "You can't do this," or "You that," listen, man, that don't mean anything to me. I know who I am. I'm Joshua. You know what I'm saying? I'm Joshua. I know who I am. I'm talented. I'm smart. I'm funny. I am who I am. You can't attack me with that. I ain't dealing with that. And I'm not saying that's easier said than done. I'm not just saying that you tell your child to do that, it's gonna be all right, because them words hurt. But we have to focus on the identity. Your adolescent relationship with their family growing up can be definitely negative, yep, or positive. The impact adult relationship present visible and positive role models of valid. Yeah. I mean, your environment, when it comes to housing, all of that, your environment can cultivate positivity, or it can cultivate and breed negativity. And we see that every day when young people that are products of these environments, and their parents are not engaged and involved like they could be, they end up, being reared by the environment. The environment raised them, and so you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. That's what my son was in the CDC. That's what he used to come on and say. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. So yeah, influence. And with bullying being so prevalent, we got a conversation about bullying. I got a guest coming on. Hold on one second. On the 16th of November, I got a guest coming on, a therapist, talking about bullying. But we also not only want to talk about the victims of bullying, but we want to talk about the bully as well and get to the root of that. So we got a lot of content coming out here. Please hit like, please subscribe, like the Facebook page, I Stand the LLC, YouTube, I Stand the LLC. And let's keep these conversations going, bridge these gaps that are in our community with our young people. We got some more cooking that's going to come up, because that's a domain that goes with housing, so it's a lot of things we're going to unpack, but we're just here having a little discussion. Life skills, how are you able to fend for yourself, take care of yourself, teach your child even as a little one, when they're able to begin to do chores, wash dishes, clean their bathroom. You're teaching them independence. You're teaching them life skills that they can take with them when they leave your environment. And you know that they're going to be able to keep a tidy house. When you sign that lease, when they want to get their apartment in college and you sign your name on that lease, you ain't got to stress about are they punching holes in the wall? Are they punching holes in the wall, wasting Kool-Aid all over the carpet, which you're gonna have to pay for when they move out? You'll know because you taught them, right? So teaching life skills is very important. How to cook, I saved a lot of money in college, man, because they drive through and eat your money up. If you know how to cook the basic things, breakfast food, at least boil some rice, maybe even fry some chicken if you really want to teach them. So life skills are important. And the last one is finance and employment. Man, like we could talk about this all day. But what I want to say is, when you sit down with your child and you see, watch them when they're growing up, when they're like 8, 9, 10, 11, watch the things that they gravitate to and always provide opportunities in those areas, whether it's soccer, sign them up for soccer. If they out there dribbling the ball, get them in basketball. And you may be like, man, we all over the place. But what you're doing is you're creating exposure, because there may be a different culture of people that play soccer, different culture of people that play baseball, different culture of people that play basketball. And if they interested in all that, try to get them in all of that until they figure out that one thing they want to grow up and spread their wings and fly, you know. But expose them to all of that. If they want into engineering, get them into STEM. See what they're doing, watch what they're doing, and gravitate to. If it's building Legos, make sure they got Legos to build, because you cultivating that gift. You cultivating that gift, and that's our role and our responsibility as parents is to cultivate that seed that's ours, that child that's ours, that's ours, that's yours. So you got children, and even when it comes to long-term education, what they're gonna do from a career standpoint. Open them up to the whole gamut of options, right? Not just the higher education and going to college, getting a 4-year degree, but look at the trades that are coming back, the vocations that are coming back that will allow them to be an entrepreneur straight out the gate. You get a certification in plumbing, welding, with all this IT stuff going on, these manufacturing plants coming up, working on cars, building cars, so many different things that they can do. But you have to understand the path that they are on and the path that you want them on. And then it's got to blend, because you don't want your path to be the path they take just because you want them to take it. And you want to have some influence in the path that they want to take. So all of that blends together, and you put your beautiful child on the right track to be a productive citizen, to be an influencer, contributor to this world, because I believe that all people, all humanity should contribute to the world in their area of expertise, in their area of specialization. I think we all specialize in something, and we have a gift to give. And I hope that you learn some on this chat, and I hope that you can one day present your gift to the world if you haven't. I don't care how old you are. It is not too late to present your gift to the world. Find your gift and present your gift to the world. Listen, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm gonna get up off here, but tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going live again. I'm gonna have a guest in the building, and we're gonna be talking about transactional conversation. We're gonna be doing some role play, just really getting in the thick so our young people can understand how important communication is when it comes to making transactions with humans, with others, with people. So be looking out for that to pop up on your Facebook wall, on YouTube. Again, hit like, hit share, subscribe. Peace out, Coach Jay. I'm gone.